About a week ago, I had a discussion with my friends about video games. But this time, we were talking about if video games are really bad per se. Because we heard some people say, oh, video gaming, that's just bad for you, that's just bad for your head, it messes with you, it's bad for your attention span, for your dopamine. And we had quite a big discussion about this. So to say, my answer would be it depends. It depends. If you're coming home from work and you play for 1 hour, 2 hour, or you even have like a 4 to 5 hour session with your friends, for example, in the finals, which is the game you are seeing in the background here, I don't believe it is that bad. Of course, we can discuss that there are video games which have some systems that have an impact on your brain, definitely. Are dopamine inducing, yes. But I think the key word we're searching for here is moderation. If you can moderate gaming, I don't believe it is bad. It's just with everything. If you eat too much, you eventually will become unhealthy. You will gain weight. If you eat more than you need, you will gain weight. And in some degree, I think we can apply this to gaming. If household chores, if relationships, if family, if our body, if our health suffers from the video games, from that hobby, then I believe we can open up this discussion here pretty good. Because then it's like we do get a buff. Yeah, like it's game like. We do get a buff in life because we feel good and we can play the game. Well, most of the time. But I do believe that we also get a debuff. Because then we do not take care about our social life, for example. And then we get a debuff in social skills. The same goes for a household, for chores, for doing the dishes, or doing the laundry. So we have enjoyment, but at a cost. But what if that is done already? Let's say we did the laundry, we did our chores for the day. Gaming then feels much better. And we do not have a debuff, a real life debuff. So it depends. Of course, sometimes we knew it would be better to do the dishes now, and we decided to game. But come on now, especially if you are from the working class, yeah, such as I am, you come home and you don't always want to do chores, yeah. I totally understand that. And the game can feel relaxing in such a moment. But I think it's let's imagine a scale. How much do you actually suffer? Do you actually have a lot of negative consequences through that? Because the deal is when you come home from work and you are tired, then forcing yourself to do a lot of chores probably is not gonna make it better. So for example, if it's Friday and you are just tired because of the work week, or I don't know, you have kids, a family you have to take care of, then of course, then take off that Friday. Jesus Christ. Just take off that evening and that night and do it on Saturday, but make sure that you do it on Saturday actually. Well, it is a game of time management. Yes. And I do believe the difficulty nowadays is that video game developers have figured out what our brains really, really like and how they can hook us. I was talking about this in my last video already. So if you haven't seen that, watch that. It's about intrinsic and extrinsic motivation in video games. But I think that is a key, that we kind of nowadays have to lead a battle against ourselves, against our own brain, that we do not get hooked on those extrinsic factors. What do I mean by extrinsic factors? I mean like daily quests, weekly rewards, leveling guns. And if we can manage this, if we realize this, if we know what is going on, it is better to moderate and put the game down. But of course, different video games have different dopamine curves. So basically, how good you feel, how good it makes you feel. But there's a pretty good rule. Like, if you like the video game because of the gameplay, you are going in a good direction. Also, games that can only be played in longer sessions are really dangerous when it comes to that. The best example is World of Warcraft raids. I have never raided in World of Warcraft. I never came that far in that game. I deleted it because it was a danger to my time. But beware of such time traps, because there you have a social commitment. Like those raids, as much as I heard, they can take up to 6 hours or something like that. And well, that's a big time block. You can play a round of, I don't know, for example, the finals. You can play 2 rounds, you can play 3 rounds, but I don't believe it's hard to put it down. Yeah, it's like a round-based game. Those are easier to put away. Age of Empires, for example, especially competitive. So don't get stuck in that. Yeah. And yeah, moderation is a key, but I think what we have to understand, which also took me a lot of time, is that it's getting more and more difficult for us to moderate because of techniques that video game developers implement in their games. So as long as gaming is not unhealthy, as long as you watch the buffs and debuffs, like these items in video games where you get a really nice buff, but you also get a debuff that comes with that, I think that is gaming. And what you have to do is kind of make gaming a really good buff that comes with as less debuffs as possible. So yeah, moderation, we hear it all the time. Just moderate it. I read on Reddit about people that have a problem with video game addiction, or that they can't stop playing. And people comment something like, yeah, just moderate it. You need to moderate it. You need to learn how to moderate gaming. Well, okay, then teach people how to moderate. Because let me tell you, 1 hour on a day is not a lot, especially if you want to be good at a game. When we talk about competitive games, again, I'm going to take the example of the finals. People out there are sweats. And there are always people, such as in sports, that are better than you. Like the ceiling is unlimited. Of course, there's something like skill-based matchmaking for this, but it means there has to be a specific time of investment here. Like, you need to invest time to become better, which then again may damage your buff and debuff ratio. So just keep that in mind. So what are the takeaways from this video? From this talk of mine here? I think the best for us gamers, because, well, I believe because you saw the thumbnail, you kind of know the gaming scene. You're a gamer yourself. The biggest takeaway here is the buff and debuff ratio that can be applied to gaming. How many buffs do we put on gaming? How many debuffs? How much time does it actually take that gaming becomes more debuff than buff actually? Because you know that feeling when you have done all your chores on a Saturday or a Sunday, and then you play video games with such a clear head because you know, yes, I did everything. I'm done. I did all my chores. There's nothing to do right now. Or let's say you did 5 out of 7 chores that you wanted to do. I think then we are really on the buff side here instead of the debuff side. And also, what I don't think it is working is to say earn gaming as a reward. I don't believe that works actually that good. Because it always, you kind of train yourself that you have to do something you may do not like chores. I mean, who likes to do the dishes? Yeah. that gaming is a reward. Yeah, but gaming isn't a reward actually, right? It's not a reward. It isn't. It is something that you want to do, that you like. You shouldn't have to earn it, yeah? I think that's just a strange concept. I mean, write in the comments if you see this from another angle. I just believe that gaming for me, it's not a reward. It's not a reward. I don't want to earn that. I want to do it. I want to just do it. In my head, this ratio, this buff-debuff ratio, that's the thing that works really, really great with my brain. But maybe there are other ways where this may even work better, this moderation. So if you have any tips, drop them down in the comments, because I'm definitely open to learn more about this. So this is basically just stuff that I read, that I just wrote down out of my head, you know, when I was just sitting there and thinking, what does moderation actually mean? And how can you actually do it? It's the same thing when you go to the gym the first time and people say to you, well, just going to the gym or just start lifting weights. I'm in search of a hobby. Yeah, start lifting weights. Well, that's just such a gray word, like a gray term. You cannot just say that. Like, if people figure it out, working out can be so complex. I think we have to give each other more instructions, more deeper instructions, like step 1, step 2, step 3, like a roadmap, like a map in a video game. You have to go there. Like in Elden Ring, there's these golden circles with golden arrows that lead you kind of in a direction. Because with the example of working out, you can't always say, go there, go there. You have to make some experiences on your own. And I do believe that is the same concept here. So moderate, okay, but let's figure out what that actually means. And I hope that I could, with this video, clarify it a little bit more. Like, get you a better idea of what works for me, and it may work for you. It may. Maybe there are other things that work for you, other methods, but maybe that technique of mine works for you too, and you can practically apply it to your own life without just saying, well, just moderate gaming. That's all there is. Yeah. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this content. And have a great day. See you.